Good morning, everyone. Our topic for today is about research methodology. Okay, so of course, if you started working on your first piece of formal research, be it a thesis, dissertation, or research project, you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed by all the technical lingo that gets thrown around. So, research methodology, sometimes research methods, data collection and analysis, and it seems never ending. No? So, research methodology simply refers to the practical how of many given piece of research. So most specifically, it's about how a researcher systematically design a study to ensure valid and reliable results that address the research aims and objectives. So most commonly, no, they are asking what data to collect and what data to ignore, who to collect it from in research. This is called sampling design. How to collect it, or this called data collection methods, and how to analyze it. Now, this is called a data analysis method. Okay, to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter.
Research methodology. Good day, everyone. Our group will be discussing research methodology. Research methodology discusses the overall plan of the research and how the researchers will carry out the data collection methods. It consists of 5 different parts as shown. Please note that there are other terms for this. My presentation aims to discuss the first 2 parts, namely research design and participants or respondents of the study. The rest will be discussed by my group mates. Research design. There are 3 different types of research design: descriptive, experimental, and historical research design. Descriptive research describes the status of the variables or topics under investigation. There are different kinds of descriptive research. The first one is descriptive normative study, which describes the trend, the present status compared to the previous or past status of the variable. Next is correlational research study. It investigates how the different variables are related to one another. Another one is descriptive evaluative study. It is like descriptive normative study but with evaluation. This evaluation can either be longitudinal or cross-sectional study. The changes of the variable in one age group over a period of time for the former and involves different age groups for the latter. Next is assessment or evaluation study. It determines the effectiveness of a policy slash or practice. The common example for this is the transition of the educational system in the Philippines from basic education curriculum to K-12 curriculum. The researchers have found out that BEC is not enough, hence the change. And finally, the descriptive comparative study. This established significant differences between 2 or more groups of, of subjects based on a criteria. Please note the descriptive research study can be a combination of 2 or more of the mentioned uh, types. The next kind of research design is experimental research. It uses scientific method to identify and impose control over all other variables except one. The following are the control group designs: pre-test, post-test, control group design. This group design consists of two groups. First is the control group and the second is the experimental group. Both will be having a pre-test and a post-test. The difference is that the experimental group, the treatment factor will be done in only one, which is the experimental group. And if you have a limited participants or respondents, this is the single group pre-test post-test design. The single group will conduct the pre-test and then without treatment factor and then post-test. Eventually, they will conduct again a pre-test and then the treatment factor and then the post-test. Another example of group design is the Solomon 4 group design. It consists of 4 different groups split into 2 control group and a 2 experimental group. The processes they will undertake is shown in the slide. Although this will require more resources or data, but it will definitely show a more accurate result. And then the next is historical research. Historical research collects, verifies, and synthesizes evidence from the past to establish facts that support or reject the research hypothesis. Since the sources are from the past, you cannot conduct survey, so there are only secondary sources. The primary documentary evidence are from the books, and then you can in terms of the non-textual sources can be photographs or newspaper or magazines or video clips. And the workflow for the historical research is as simple as this. First is the data collection, and then data analysis, and then report of findings. So since ano nga siya, hindi nga viable, hindi nga feasible yung survey, so limited lang dito yung historical research. Kung magbibigay man ako ng example, siguro yung sa pandemic, tapos ano yung mga naging epekto ng pandemic noon sa ngayon, na nakikita naman natin na may mga ano rin naman, may mga na-apply din naman. And then sample research instrument. So nung college po ako, yung final paper na requirement namin is a capstone design format or a capstone design having a title of Design of Water System in Sitio Igiban, Zone 7A, Barangay Kupang, Antipolo City. And this can be classified as experimental research. The design of water distribution system follows several design phases as shown in figure 1-2. After the area has been selected, collection of necessary data is conducted. Topographical map, total population and its growth rate, number of households, physical features of the area, existing water distribution if there is, and etc. Constraints are then classified to be able to take it into account in designing. In design phase, trade-offs are selected and then quantified to come up with the topmost design to solve the problem. So this is in experimental design, research design, because we have used scientific method on 3 times on 3 different approach, and then we have evaluated and compared each other, and then come up with the most economical and viable design. As I mentioned earlier, it can be called in different terms. Since this is a capstone format, a format which was considered or used by my undergrad school, mainly used by engineering degree. So nasa chapter 1 siya, and tinatawag siyang project development. Next in my report is the participants or respondents of the study. The correct use of respondents and participants. If your research study is in qualitative type, then you should use the word participants. If your research study is in quantitative type, then you should use the word respondents. Ma-explain to sa iba pang slide. Ang sinabi ayon kay Margaret Roller, dun sa sinulat niya ng Research Design Review year 2009, the survey respondents are correctly referred to as respondents because that is exactly the role they play in the research process. Post from ResearchGate Journal, the term respondents refers to the ones who answer or respond to the written or oral question. Similarly, in quantitative type of research, respondents are responding to the research question, which are typically structured and close-ended in format. When to use participants of the study? The term qualitative research participant is fit to be labeled as participant because their roles go beyond with simply replying or responding to a series of questions by Margaret Roller. They explain and elaborate. So, to summarize, respondents are the ones who just respond to the survey or the oral or written questions. However, the participants are the one that goes beyond their role as respondents, and they contribute to the study as well. They explain and then elaborates their opinion or their thought process to the study. And that's all. Thank you.